All right, so I'm sure all of you have heard me at one point talking about going to three at the back rather than the four that we have in the 4-3-3. And I think this is just a good opportunity to talk about a few of the things that we should be focusing on. There's not too much that's going to change. We're still going to be showing for the ball. We're still going to try and be patient in going through the three phases of play to actually make sure we get up and down the pitch as a team. But this is just going to help us with a few little tinkerings, I guess. So firstly, why are we doing this? I think it's a really good way to actually get more bodies and designated players in the box to actually finish off a lot of the chances that we make. Um, I'm sure all of you will know that we have lots of chances. We get a lot of great good possession. We push the opposition back really well, but we're not getting as many goals as that will have justified, I guess. Secondly, we can continue to build on and utilize the composure that our backline brings us. We're really good at playing the ball across, switching play to actually open up the opposition really well, draw them in with that press and actually play through it. Do it all the time. It makes us look silky smooth. And essentially, we just don't need as many players doing it because the quality we have is great. Thirdly, we're just a team of fucking ballers, so why the fuck not? So the key changes that I want to talk about us focusing on, or essentially just acknowledging, is that we need to continue that really good work that the centre backs are doing and the fullbacks are doing, and we need to make sure that we're still drawing those opposition players and playing through them. So yes, I've got it here as left mid, right mid, but these guys will come back as fullbacks to actually start that passage of play and make sure that we can actually progress through and draw them out and create the space, not just in midfield, but also higher up at the pitch. Secondly, you'll probably see that we'll end up having a lot more crossing opportunities, and that's just because the opposition centre backs as well as their fullbacks won't have the assurance within themselves that they can come out and press these players because they'll be trying to juggle these three forwards, and then they'll know that they're essentially outnumbered there, and so we'll get a lot more opportunities for these guys out wide to actually whip a ball in. Yes, I'm happy for you to whip a ball in every now and then when you see someone going up for a good run, but remember, along the ground's always the best, and it's going to have a far better success rate. We generally see one of these centre mids streaming in as well. Telling you, if we start seeing some balls hit straight at that edge of the D, we're going to start seeing some goals. Last thing is just that double pivot. So it's very important in build up that these two come back, but also just to note that we're not going to have that one that needs to sit. We'll have essentially one or two. So just understanding that space there in front of the centre backs where the other one gets to roam. Also, it might look like we're losing a centre mid, but essentially in the defensive third and that transition third, these two will essentially come back and be essentially attacking midfielders, but very much coming back for the ball. And we'll get a lot of opportunities because we'll have this bit of a box midfield so we can actually play around the opposition's midfields as well. We should be winning all these battles. We do it already, but we should be doing it in a way that we can actually progress up the pitch and make sure that we're actually using this width as well. So, like I said, from defensive and those left and right wing backs, making sure that we've got time for them to come up and actually be right and left wingers. We'll have a lot of rotation for those players, but yeah, cool. One thing I want the forwards to focus on is just making sure you're in these distinct channels and not essentially crowding and being stuck in the same one. This just makes us a lot less dynamic. Passing through the like straight and that flat pass, really easy for opposition defenders to read and cut out. So we want to make sure we're kind of passing diagonally, and there's a lot of rotation or a lot of movement from the forwards in this kind of formation. So if this one comes out, just make sure you're kind of coming up as well. Get a cutback pass, or if this forward's going to be there. Like I said, lots of rotation, lots of movement is going to really help these forwards, but just making sure we're aware of these channels or half spaces, a little time they're called. One thing that I've seen in this formation is sometimes those inside forwards don't feel like they can go out into this wide channel. That's totally fine, and essentially will open up the space for the centre mid to come in or that centre forward to come across because this is really useful. And again, those crosses will be fine because this player will essentially be a little bit hesitant into actually diving into that, or they'll be leaving up a channel there because the other centre backs are very concerned about these two. In the way of defense, we've done a few drills around this by just making sure that the outside centre backs, you're always very confident that you can go to the ball. So you see someone out wide, maybe they've beat our right mid. Centre back, you can always go across because you know that these two are going to be able to cover that central space. And even if the opposition have, they're playing with a front three, it's generally that will be their left winger, and then their right, that'll be their left wing, and their right wing and their centre forward will be here, and so we're actually able to cover them anyway. Understanding that you've always got that opportunity is fine, and just making sure again that one of those double pivots is coming back to making sure that we're not letting them get on the ball in that space in front of our centre backs. Any formation, that's a real danger area. Lastly, yes, we're going to definitely acknowledge that the other side of our defensive three is going to be the danger area. Players get in that space coming from a long switch. It's going to be hard for us to ensure that we've got someone there. This wing back is not always going to be there. But again, just understanding that a long ball comes across, this centre back can go because these two centre backs are also going to be tracking back and trying to find these two to make sure it's not an easy hit in. I don't expect it to to land as often. You're not going to see a whole bunch that can actually be taken down and lead to a shot. But yeah, if that happens, just make sure that we can actually run across and get to it. That's about it. I think of anything else to talk to, but yeah, it's going to be good fun. Let's make sure we kind of put all our eggs in the basket and get G'd up for tomorrow's game. I think it'll work really well against Bexley. Yeah, so I can get it. I'll put out the team sheet probably this afternoon just so you can actually have a look well. But I've chatted with a lot of you about the different positions and the different roles. Always come to me with any questions you have and we can chat through it. Cool. Catches. Let's fucking get it.